Hey friends, welcome to the Friday edition of Daily Discipleship with Joe Barlow. Listen, there is a process for which, if you follow it, when you speak, the mountains will move. I want to share with you how that works. Hey friends, we're talking about faith. Today we're talking about the voice of faith. Now, after you know God's will, and after you know what you are supposed to pursue in Him, we've been talking about that all along now. And after you get to that point where you know what you are supposed to pursue, and you know the way things should go, you know what you want. Guess what it's time to do? Speak. That's what it's time to do. Faith has a voice, and you're the one that gives it its voice. Amen? So we need to listen to what faith says and then speak what faith says. Okay? I want to go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. It says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." And it says that the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved or hovered upon the face of the waters. Okay? And then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Now, wait a second. God got exactly what He said. Do you know that Jesus got exactly what He said? When He was, when He was feeding the 5,000, when He was praying for the sick, all these things, when He turned water into wine, Jesus got what He said. I think we need to learn how to get this thing working, because it does work if you do it right. Okay? The Spirit, let's go back to verse 1. Okay? And it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Okay, so there you have the picture. God created the heavens and the earth. Verse 2 says, "And the earth was without form and void." In verse 2 there, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Now watch this. It says the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. He hovered. He was over the surface of the waters. What was He doing? There's a time when faith doesn't speak. And in verse 2, God wasn't talking. He was hovering. There's a difference. It's not always just about talking. You got to load your gun before you shoot it. And you've got to fill your heart and your mind with what you're supposed to say before you say it. Okay? So, the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. God was going through the process that He wants us to go through. We're supposed to imitate God, according to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1. There's a word that's ruminate, where it's part of digestion. You're thinking things over. You're ruminating a thought. You're letting a thought develop on the inside of you, and as it's growing and it's thinking, and you're coming to a solution. You're coming to the point where you know what to say, and the words begin to form, and you know exactly what to say. And the decision is made. That's when it's time. When, and I'll say it this way, when you are fully in unity with yourself, and when your spirit, soul, and body have all converged, and you're all one, and you're going in one direction, and saying, "I'm not doing anything else but this. This is the way I'm going." That's when it's time to speak. I'll tell you this. Back in 2008, I had already been pastoring for maybe 2.5 years, 3 years maybe. I'd been a pastor since 2005. But in 2008, the Lord, all in one day, spoke to me to start Joseph Barlow Ministries. And so I grabbed my little voice recorder, and I ran down to the river and just started walking around the lake and the river, and just walking, and I had my little recorder with me, and I was praying in the Spirit, and then I was, as I was praying into this recorder so I would capture everything. And then I was praying in the Spirit, and then I would interpret the tongues, And so I recorded that whole thing so that I could get the mind of God, because God was telling me to start Joseph Barlow Ministries. And so I was there recording and listening and praying and listening, and then I would write down what he would say and different things. I was getting it. I was gathering. So in a sense, I was hovering over this. I hadn't said anything yet. I told my wife, I said, I think God's telling me I'm supposed to start Joseph Barlow Ministries. And it all came in one day, that this whole thing. So after I kept praying about it, and it just kept forming into this vision. And the real clarity of this vision started coming. And I still remember it was on October 20th. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then I said it out loud. I said, I hereby begin Joseph Barlow Ministries. It was on October 20th, 2008. That's the date. That's not the day the Lord spoke it to me. That's the day I spoke it into existence. It was October 20th, 2008. I spoke it. And I knew that me making a declaration was going to make a difference. That's the voice of faith. Faith speaks. But faith also, it waits until it's ready to speak. So it's not just all this hurry, hurry, say the right thing. No, gather your thoughts, gather things, ruminate on this, get it together to where you see it and you know it on the inside, like God was doing when he was hovering over the waters. It says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God hovered upon it says he moved upon the face of the deep, on the face of the waters. And then God stepped out and said, man, it's dark out here. No, he didn't. He did not say that. He didn't tell us the news. He told us the forecast. He forecasted the future. He prophesied the future. He spoke what's going to happen. He didn't say what it already was. He said what's going to happen. Okay? He declared and he created with his words. And the next verse says, let there be light. God said, let there be light. And there was light. God spoke these things into existence. He wanted them to be. Okay? Now let me share a couple other verses for you, or with you. It says in Luke chapter 6, verse 45, this is a good one. It says, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth that which is good. And an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart brings forth that which is evil. And of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Now watch this. This process you see in this verse is the same process that happened in Genesis when the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. He was waiting. He was watching. And he was perceiving. And he was deciding. And then he spoke. Same thing here with you. If you've got good in your heart, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good things. Okay? Out of the overflow or the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You're going to speak out of the... Another guy said, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth leaks. Okay? Well, yeah, it's going to. You better pay attention to what's in your heart because it's going to come out of your mouth. It's really the truth. It really will flow from you. Now, there's another verse I want to share with you, and it's Mark chapter 11, verse 23. It says, for verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Now watch this. This is really important that you understand that there's a process before you speak. There is a process before you speak. And it says in this verse, verily I say unto you that whoever would say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, And now watch this. And shall not doubt in his heart. Now, the word doubt means you've got a division. You've got got something sliced into two pieces there. As a matter of fact, you've heard of doubting Thomas. Well, the word Thomas means twin, split. There's a division there, okay? And so there's a division in the thinking. It's double-minded. And once you go double-minded, you're not single-minded. And the place where God waited, he didn't speak until he was single-minded. And he said, let there be light. And there was light. You have this exact same power on the inside of you. If you are a believer in Jesus Christ, you have the Spirit of God dwelling on the inside of you, and you're ready to go. And God's spoken to you some things, and it's time to speak. My friends, I declare in Jesus' name, speak with your mouth and call those things that be not as though they were. Create with your mouth. Heavenly Father, I pray for my friends today that they would be people of faith. They would hear your voice. They would ruminate. They would get the idea, and they would fully bring that idea to maturity. And then when the time comes, Lord, I pray that they would speak and that they would see the manifestation of their faith. How's that? Friends, I hope you enjoyed that. That is a powerful week right there. Solid teaching on faith. Come back every day. Just keep coming back. We love you. I'll see you next week. Hey, friends. Before we go today, I got to tell you about this Facebook group called Daily Discipleship with Joe Barlow. Now, you can catch the link. We'll put it in the notes. But I want you to go over and join this group. It's a private group. It's just for us, right? It's just for people who watch the show, people who are serious about learning more about Jesus, people who really want to grow in their walk with the Lord. Right? So I put up in there of course we put the show up there every day, but we also put up prophecies and different writings that I have. And then, the thing we did this last year with live prayer and prophecy. Well, now we're not going to be doing it in the regular show. We're now doing it over in that Daily Discipleship with Joseph Barlow Facebook group. So I want you to come over and join that so you don't miss out on all the fun. All right, because it's going to be fun. I mean, we do a lot of cool stuff. All right, so that's a blessing. I got one more thing I want to share with you, and that is that we have taken this daily show and we're putting it together in a podcast. So what we do is we'll take the full week, okay, string it all together and put it into a podcast. We'll release it every Friday for you. Okay, so that's it's going to be about an hour long. Maybe just a little over that. But getting a good dose of one topic every week and a good solid hour of teaching broken up into 5 smaller segments that you can, more bite-sized pieces that we're doing it every day here. But this gives you the opportunity that if you don't have time to get onto Facebook, you can have this on your telephone or wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can go to anchor.fm, you can go to Spotify, or you could go over to iTunes. All of those have it. But we have the link here at josephbarlow.com. Go check it out. We love you.